Okay, so for millions of us, our pets are, well, they're not just pets, right? They're family. But here's something you might not think about. If you're a renter, that furry family member also brings a unique set of financial risks. So, what do you do? How do you protect yourself, your pet, and your wallet? We're going to break down what you really need to know about renter's insurance when you've got a pet. So, is your furry family a financial risk? I know, it's a tough question to even ask because, of course, we love them to bits. But from an insurance company's point of view, that adorable furry face could actually represent a major financial liability that you haven't even thought about. Let's dig into why that is. All right, first up, a renter's furry risk. We're talking about the hidden costs of companionship. And trust me, it goes way, way beyond just the usual pet deposits and vet bills. Here's the hard truth, our pets are cherished family members. Absolutely. But they can also be a significant financial liability. The same little guy that brings you so much joy could, totally by accident, cause some really serious financial headaches. We're talking about everything from something small, like a scratched door, all the way up to a major incident, like an unexpected bite. And just look at this number, $300,000. That's a potential liability claim from just one pet incident. Think about it. One bite, one person tripping over your dog, and you could be looking at a lawsuit for $300,000, or even more. For most of us, a number like that is, well, it's financially devastating. So the big question is, how do you shield yourself from something like that? So how do we build that shield? How does your policy protect you? Well, the good news is you're not in this alone. Your renter's insurance policy actually has a really powerful tool built right in, designed for exactly this kind of situation. And here it is. This is your financial shield, personal liability coverage. Let's put that in plain English. If your pet accidentally hurts someone or, say, damages their property, this is the part of your policy that steps in to pay for the medical bills or the legal fees. So you don't have to. It's basically your financial backstop. Okay, so let's look at how this actually plays out in the real world, because this is where it gets interesting. Let's say your dog bites a guest at your apartment. Is it covered? Typically, yes, that's what liability is for, unless that specific breed is on an exclusion list. What if your cat completely ruins your landlord's new carpet? Well, that's a possibly yes. It all comes down to whether you're legally liable for that damage. But here's the one that surprises people. Your rabbit chews through your own TV cord. Is that covered? Nope, not at all. And that's the key thing to remember here. Liability coverage is all about protecting you from claims made by other people. It's not for damage to your own stuff. And that last point brings us to a really, really important reality check. Just because you have a policy, it doesn't mean you're covered for absolutely everything. In fact, there are some pretty significant gaps, and you absolutely need to know what they are. Okay, this is where you gotta become a detective and read that fine print. Here are the critical exclusions to know. First, damage your pet causes to your own property, almost never covered. Damage to the rental unit itself, the walls, the floors, often excluded, which puts your security deposit right on the line. And then there's the big one. A lot of policies have a list of restricted dog breeds, or they won't cover exotic pets. If you have one of those, you might have zero liability coverage for any incidents they're involved in. Zero. Yeah, let this one really sink in. Damage to your own belongings by your pet is not covered under personal property coverage. So, if your adorable new puppy decides your $1,000 laptop is a chew toy, your renter's insurance isn't going to pay for a new one. That part of your policy is for things like a fire or a break-in, not damage caused by a member of your own household, even the furry, four-legged ones. Okay, so that might sound a little scary. I get it. We've seen the risks, we've seen the gaps. But now, let's talk about how you can take back control. Let's get into some smart owner strategies, because there are absolutely proactive steps you can take to protect yourself and, just as importantly, prove you're a responsible pet owner. Okay, here we go. Proactive steps. Step 1, and I'm totally serious about this, create a pet resume. Get all their vaccination records, any training certificates, maybe even references from a past landlord. Put it all together to prove you're a responsible, low-risk owner. Step 2 is all about managing risk at home. Simple things, right? Pet gates, plenty of chew toys, proper training and socialization. It all makes a difference. And step 3, this one is non-negotiable. Be transparent. You have to tell your insurer about your pets and their history. Trying to hide an excluded breed is pretty much a guaranteed way to get your claim denied when you need it most. All right, now let's talk about your actual policy for a second. Because one of the absolute smartest moves you can make is also one of the cheapest. Seriously, We're talking about a small price for some major peace of mind.
And this chart just says it all. Take a look. A standard policy, a lot of times, will give you about $100,000 of liability coverage. That's bar one. But look at bar two, the recommended coverage. For what might literally be just a few extra bucks a month, like the cost of a fancy coffee, you could often triple that coverage to $300,000 or even more. That is an exponentially bigger safety net for a tiny increase in cost. It's a no-brainer.
But what if that's still not enough? What if you have significant assets you need to protect? Or maybe you have a pet that insurers consider higher risk? Well, in that case, you might need to look beyond your basic coverage. And that's where something called a personal umbrella policy comes into play. Think of it exactly like it sounds, a giant extra umbrella of protection. It sits on top of your existing renter's insurance. So if a claim completely exhausts your, say, $300,000 limit, this policy kicks in, and it provides an additional $1 to $5 million in coverage. For pet owners who have a lot to lose, this is really the ultimate strategy for total peace of mind. So we kind of end right where we started. You do everything you can to protect your family. The question I want to leave you with is your pet's risk covered too? Have you taken the right steps to fully cover the unique risks that come with your furry family? The best thing you can do? Pull out your policy today and check. That's your first step toward real, genuine peace of mind.